Hey guys, happy Friday. Today in math is lesson 102. You can go ahead and start open to 649. Today we're talking about tenths and hundredths on a number line. So we've used decimal numbers to name lengths that include a fraction of a centimeter. For instance, the length of the segment that's shown here in your book can be written as 23 millimeters or 2.3 centimeters. We've done that before. Likewise, on a number line, the number line that's in your book, the distance between every two whole numbers is divided into 10 equal parts. The arrow is pointing to the number 3 1/10, which we can write as a mixed number or as a decimal. So that's in your book. You have the 3, the whole number 3. Then the arrow is pointing to the notch right after it, which would be 1/10, because it's divided into 10 sections in between the 3 and the 4. So that notch represents 1/10. So it can be written as 3 1/10 as a fraction, or 3.1, which is the same as 3 1/10 as a decimal. If the distance between whole numbers on a number line is divided into 100 parts, then points between whole numbers may need to be written with 2 decimal places. The arrow below, so again, you should be looking at your book, is pointing to 3 25 which can be written as 3.25 or as 3 25 as a fraction. And if you look, you probably don't want to count, so just trust me, there's 100 segments in between the 3 and the 4. And it's pointing at the 25th one. So that's 3 25. So that would be 3.25 because 25. If you look at a meter stick, which I doubt you guys have at home, but if you do, cool. I don't even have one at home. But you can see that it's divided into 100 centimeters, so 100 sections. Each centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. So a pencil that is 18 centimeters long is 0.18 meters, or 18 hundredths of a meter. So let's go ahead and look at example 1. It says Santiago is 162 centimeters tall. What is Santiago's height in meters? So we want to use a decimal with this. So we can remember, well, there are, how many centimeters are in a meter? 100. So if he's 162 centimeters tall, we can take out that 100, that's a meter. So he's 1 meter, and then we had 62 centimeters left, so he's 1 62 hundredths of a meter tall. So it would look like this. 1 62 hundredths meters. So that's how we would do that. Because each of those centimeters is 1/100th of a meter. All right, example 2. Write the decimal number to which each arrow points. So you should be looking at this as well on 650. Well, the arrow, these are the segments in between the whole numbers are tenths, because there are 10 segments in between each number. So you have to look at the whole number. So the whole number, it's between 9 and 10. So our whole number is going to be 9. So we can go ahead and write that. But now it's wanting to know the decimal. So we need to count how many tenths it is past the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all we do, it's 9 6/10. We write that as a decimal, just like that. B kind of helps us out, because it's hundredths in between 7 and 8. But it breaks up every 10 hundredths as 1/10. So 7 after 10 hundredths, after 7, we have 7.1. And that tells us that's 7 10 hundredths, which is the same as 7 1/10. So we have to go all the way past the 7.5. So we already know because it's in between 7.5 and 7.6, we already know that that's going to be the start of our decimal, but we need to know what's in the hundredths place. So we just count in between the 5 and the 6. It's kind of hard to see. 1, 2. Looked like it was at the 3 for a second, but it's 2 hundredths past 7.5. So we just put a 2 in the hundredths place, and there we go. Now example 3, A says round 9 6/10 to the nearest whole number. So rounding with decimals works the same way as any rounding. If the number is 5 through 9, we round up. If it's 1 through 4, we round down. So 9.6 to the nearest whole number tells us, the 6 tells us to round up. So the nearest whole number to 9.6, we go up to 10. So A is 10. B says round 7.52, 7 52 hundredths, to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to write this one down. So this is the tenths place, right? Right after the decimal. So we're looking in the hundredths place to know how we round, if we're going to round up or down. Well, the 2 tells us to round which way? Down. So we're rounding down to 7.5. If we were rounding up, it would be 7.6, but we're rounding down to 7.5. And you could even think of it like money, if that helps you. $7.52 is closer to $7.50 than it is to $7.60. So if that helps you think of it as money, that's great. And that is all of our examples for today. There is an activity on here, but you have to have a meter stick. So if you don't have a meter stick, you can't do the activity. You're welcome to do it if you have a meter stick, but don't feel like you have to. You do need to go ahead and do the lesson practice A through K on page 651. And then your independent work is odd numbers for this lesson. Just odd numbers, nothing special. As always, let me know if you have any questions, okay? Bye.